everyone. I am Jane Cranston, and I am here to talk to you about what every teacher needs and every school needs to be successful and to help their students be successful. We recently attended a night at Camp Dodge. During our visit to Camp Dodge, we were exposed to a command post simulation. This simulation showed us what types of tools the military uses when they are in the field. And this simulation is used to train their incoming soldiers. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what a command post of the future is. I know that all of you were there, but I just want to give you a couple of friendly reminders. This is a system that provides information with sharing capabilities, a mapping capacity, and a way to work in a degraded network. Do you ever feel like that's something we're doing in education? We're mapping out a way to go, we're working with our students, and sometimes the network's a little bit degraded. That might not even be the internet. It might be the weather outside and how that's impacting students in the day. It might be what happened to a student before they came into your classroom. And also, they're blessed with that sharing. So how much sharing are we doing in the schools? How much communication, how much information do we have to make these students be successful? I'm going to spend the next 4 minutes giving you a glimpse on what teachers need to help their students succeed. And that's using the 3 components that we talked about at Camp Dodge that were in the command post. The first component that we learned about was the pasteboard. The next one was 3D mapping capabilities, and the other one was sticky notes. So the pasteboard, if you remember, was a working space. This is just a place to play and edit. It's a place to plan and communicate, and you might be able to reach out to other places and bring it into the pasteboard to make a big picture. Everybody remember that? Then the 3D mapping capabilities tell us how to move through the terrain. They provide, in that specific place, Atropia, which was kind of going back to square one. We created an effort list that can be turned on and turned off. We had zooming options as well as focus options. We had constant directional guidance with a compass rose in the corner. And we had locations of task forces that were always near to help and that were always within range. So do you guys remember there was 2 ways of looking at the terrain? You could look at it from the top, you could kind of look at it from the side. Wouldn't that be great to have with your students? If you could know the terrain, if you think about your students as the terrain, if you knew like how I needed to be looking at them today, what emotions they're bringing with them, what history they came with, what successes they had in the class before, maybe failures, or maybe that teacher in the class before told them something negative that we need to build upon or work with or mentor them through. It would just be amazing if we had some kind of command post to tell us how to move through the terrain with these students. Also, this is my favorite part about the command post that we need in education. There's an effort list. So remember those accommodations that we talk about with students? We can turn them off and turn them on. As a student moves through 3rd grade and they're using PAR or different things like that, or CBMR fluency phrases, we can turn those on and off to see if they need those accommodations now and if they'd be successful without them. Also, Atropia, there was a location. You can call it a do-over. How many times have you done a lesson and you're like, oh, man, I probably just messed every dendrite up that was going, all those connections. I can turn that off, go back to Atropia, start over, right? We need this. We need this command post for teachers to be successful. With that, you can talk about what worked, what didn't work, maybe undo a bad lesson, even those things that I shouldn't have said. We've listened today about teachers who have said things to students. I've said things that I wish I could have taken back. I don't want to be judged on my character for that, but maybe in that moment I was having a weak moment and said something that didn't impact that student the way I intended. And then of course there's always the great compass in the corner that tells us what direction we're going and help us remember how to get there. Also, task forces. When you think about schools, our task forces, a lot of times we have collaborative teams, we have data teams, we have PLCs, we are a PLC. all of these different things that we're communicating. Wouldn't it be amazing to just click into a system and be able to find my task forces 2 rooms down that's supporting the student? I know that they're helping him in math. I know that he's a mentor with him when he's struggling with different things. These would support teacher efforts, back your decisions, maybe help you go to administration about some changes that you want to make, help support these students. And then finally, there's a place for sticky notes. We've been talking about all of these systems that we learn about, these grading systems and all of these different resources that we have with all of this information. And this would provide us with a place to put all of the information for history. How successful would each teacher and each student be in Iowa if we were able to give this equipment to schools and school districts? I've listened to some of you talk today about systems where you're collaborating in colleges with getting information sources all into one place. These are some of the places that we get student data and student information to know how to serve those students. JMC is a recording book, Infinite Campus as well. We know the history of students with their Facebook pages, the Snapchats they're sending. We even have filing cabinets with real paper files, right? We've got grades in Blackboard for students that are doing college classes right now. We have so much information, we don't have a single place to put it and house it so that we can serve our students the best way and really think about the terrain that we're working on. It's important to know your terrain and to be successful and to complete your mission for every child to succeed. That's it.